made some arguments, gave us a lot of examples and explained those in a lot of detail. We also saw, after the first speech, obviously there's not going to be any rebuttal in the first speech because the other team hasn't said anything yet, but beyond that every speaker made a genuine attempt to listen to what the other team had said, pick out what they thought were the most key arguments, and attempt to respond to those, tell us why we should disagree with them, which was good. They certainly gave us a lot of reasons why there's a lot of learning goes on in the playground. The one thing that was perhaps lacking from the proposition team was a level of comparison. In a debate where we say there is more learning going on in the playground than the classroom, we have to do more than just tell us what's happening in the playground, but also tell us why that accounts for more learning than we see in the classroom. That comparison maybe was the one thing that was perhaps lacking from the proposition team, but that shouldn't take away from the fact that there are a number of very interesting and very well explained arguments there. On the opposition team, we did have that level of comparison. There were real attempts to tell us why perhaps, even though there is learning going on in the playgrounds, more seems to happen in classrooms, and that maybe this kind of learning accounts for more of what we take away from our whole experience of school and education. That said, though, there maybe perhaps was not quite as much detail in the explanation of the arguments that were presented as we heard from the opposition, and perhaps in the earlier speeches we didn't hear as much rebuttal. We were told early on that they thought some of the other team's arguments weren't really relevant to the debate, that we weren't told why or which arguments we were talking about. But that was made up for later in the debate, particularly in the third speech where we had a number of very specific rebuttal arguments. The question is, was it enough late in the debate? Well, in the end, the judges, taking all of those things into account, have to decide which team did the better job. It was very close. Nevertheless, all the judges were agreed in the end as to which team we thought had won. And you'll find out which team has won after the final.